As one of the biggest artists in the world, Taylor Swift isn't exactly starving for hits. Despite some questionable choices for lead singles, her singles in general are very well picked, striking a perfect balance of radio friendliness while still retaining her signature artistry. However, there's definitely a lot of gems in her catalog that could have done well had they been released as singles. Again, not that she needs any more hits, but it's still fun to imagine another timeline where some of her deep cuts got more mainstream attention. Let's take a look at all of her albums and pick one song that had single potential. Cold As You from Taylor Swift. The original track 5, which for those who don't know refers to how the 5th track on Taylor's albums are usually among the saddest. Cold As You is a country ballad that sees Taylor reminiscing on a relationship that fell apart due to the guy's lack of emotional vulnerability. Some of the best writing on the whole album is in this song, with my personal favorite lines being, "So I start a fight cause I need to feel something, and you do what you want cause I'm not what you wanted," and "You come away with a great little story of a mess of a dreamer with the nerve to adore you." Ugh, I've never been in a relationship like this, but even I feel done wrong by this man. I think this could have been a good fall or early winter single, obviously because cold is in the title, but the melancholy lyrics and production also just lend themselves to that time of the year. Who doesn't love looking out their window, seeing the snowfall, and crying about life with a good sad song? Okay, maybe that's just me, but Cold As You totally fits that vibe perfectly. Forever and Always from Fearless. Fearless has a lot of songs that could have been radio hits, thanks to its widely appealing pop hooks and catchy melodies, but my vote goes to this one. Forever and Always is a country pop banger about her relationship with Joe Jonas. The lyrics are honestly pretty sad, with Taylor wondering why the relationship broke down and the pain she felt over his lack of communication. Despite that, the song is actually super upbeat and fun to sing along with. I love how it builds tension in the verses. You can really hear the frustration and disillusionment in her voice, which makes it a great song to put on if you're angry or if you just want to jam out. The piano version is also amazing. It definitely makes the sad lyrics hit even harder. I think both could have been singles, honestly. It would have been cool to have two completely different versions of the same song being promoted at the same time, as that's not really something artists typically do. Forever and Always would have been a great summertime smash, but I think Fearless did well enough, so it's not like it was really necessary. Enchanted from Speak Now. This is the obvious choice for this album, in my opinion. Speak Now's original title actually was Enchanted, and while that would have worked really well with the cover art, I do think Speak Now is the more fitting name. Regardless, Enchanted is one of Taylor's most gorgeous songs. The slow build-up in the verses detailing her love-struck encounter with the stranger, followed by the utterly massive chorus, makes the song an experience. I do think it probably would have been trimmed down a bit for radio, as it is nearly 6 minutes long, but honestly, I don't think it would have needed that. The song goes by fast despite its length, which goes to show just how great it is. I'll admit I am heavily biased in picking this one, as it is one of my all-time favorite Taylor songs, but I actually do think this could have been a radio hit, and one that people outside of just Swifties will look back fondly on. I also really want a video for it. Of all her songs that never got one, this is the one I wish for the most. I'm picturing sparkly fairy tale vibes, I want glitter, I want magic, and I want Taylor to transform into the dress she's wearing on the cover, Cinderella style. We'll probably never get that, but a girl can dream, can't she? Holy Ground from Red. I was gonna pick State of Grace from this album, but honestly, I like that song way too much to share it with the general public. Some things are too sacred, okay? The locals don't deserve a song that good. Now, as far as another song with single potential, I think Holy Ground could have been a moderate hit. The stomping production, fast-paced verses, and rock influence give it an infectious energy that can appeal to a wide range of audiences. It blends country, rock, and pop into one seriously memorable track. I don't think it would have been a hit on the level of We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together or I Knew You Were Trouble, but I do think it would have played well to a more grown audience who prefer Taylor's music to be more country and rock leaning instead of pop leaning. Clean from 1989. Speaking of pop leaning, 1989 is obviously Taylor's poppiest record. Truthfully, any song could have been a single, but I'm gonna go with one of the slower moments, since I feel like most of the singles from this era were pretty upbeat. Clean, the album's closing track, is arguably 1989's saddest song, rivaled by This Love, and I actually think that could have helped it stand out and become a hit. The low-key synth production provided by Imogen Heap and Taylor's devastatingly broken performance amplified the brilliant songwriting, which discusses how she broke free from a toxic relationship. Clean is one of those songs that's written generically enough for anyone to relate to. You can apply it to the end of anything in your life that brought you down, whether it was a bad relationship, an addiction, or anything else. It's a haunting track, one that I revisit exclusively when I want to cry, and I think that could have helped it stand out from the other singles, and exemplify why 1989 is so much deeper than just a pop album. Don't Blame Me from Reputation. A mixture of electropop and gospel, Don't Blame Me is one of the most quintessential songs from Reputation. Its lyrics, which see Taylor playing up the villainous image the media gave her, really sum up what this whole era was about. She'd been dragged relentlessly pretty much her whole career for being a serial dater who only wrote about relationships, so she doubled down on that image and made a song about her essentially being a man-eater. It's tons of fun to sing along with, and the gospel choir adds a much appreciated layer of drama. Like I said, the song really exemplifies what Reputation was all about. If people wanted to paint her out to be an evil woman who dated men and drove them crazy, then she was gonna play into that, and write songs from the perspective of the character the media made her out to be. This could have been a great single to answer all the backlash she'd been receiving, and show how she understood what people were saying about her, and why it was all so ridiculous. It helps that the song is a bop, too. That chorus is so damn catchy. Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince from Lover. Lover was the first era where Taylor started taking a political stance, after being famously apolitical for her entire career. While I wouldn't call the album itself necessarily political, there are some tracks that provide social commentary, such as the singles The Man and You Need to Calm Down. Both those songs are pretty on the nose in terms of what they're about, which I think is a good thing since they're easily understandable to general audiences, but Taylor really shines when she's able to be a little more subtle with her messages. Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, in my opinion, is her best social commentary track for that reason. It uses high school imagery as a metaphor for her disillusionment with the state of US politics, and it works really well. The moody production and her dejected performance drive home the message perfectly, without explicitly stating it in the lyrics. This could have been a good single to show off her masterful songwriting, which some people were questioning during this era. Look, I personally think she's the greatest lyricist of our generation, but this era began with a song where she said spelling is fun. I think she could have reassured people that she wasn't just writing for Kids Bop. This Is Me Trying from Folklore. I had some trouble picking out singles from this and the next album, since they're definitely not the most radio-friendly records. Even though they were both huge successes and inspired even more people to get into her music, I don't necessarily think they're albums that lend themselves to radio play. They're better enjoyed when you're listening intently and really paying close attention to the lyrics, but if I had to pick one from Folklore, I think This Is Me Trying probably could have struck a nerve with a lot of people. Folklore was released when we were still in lockdown, and the effects that had on people's mental health was pretty serious. This Is Me Trying is a song I've always resonated with, simply because it summed up my mood during the time. Even though it's about her struggle with depression, unhealthy coping mechanisms, and how she often feels emotionally stunted, it's still a song anyone who's ever felt like they weren't good enough could relate to. The chorus of her saying, "I just wanted you to know that this is me trying," is something I think plenty of people have felt in their lives. Who hasn't felt like they're trying their hardest, whether it be in a relationship, a job, school, or whatever, only to not see the results that they wanted? This Is Me Trying really captures that feeling, and for that reason, I think it could have worked well as a single. Or maybe I'm just projecting my own feelings onto everyone else, since I love this song so much. But whatever, give me a break. At least I'm trying. 'Tis the Damn Season from Evermore. Now, this one I actually think could have been a big hit. A cozy acoustic folk ballad about a woman who visits her hometown and temporarily rekindles an old flame. 'Tis the Damn Season is one of my favorite unofficial Christmas songs. You can listen to it any time of the year and enjoy it, but it really hits different in December. I love the chill vibe it has. It's a perfect song to throw on while you're sitting by a fireplace. I love songs that are about revisiting your old hometowns and reliving the memories from your youth, and that's what this song gives me. It's equal parts cozy and nostalgic as it is sorrowful, since the character she's singing as, which is actually supposed to be Dorothea from another song on this album, is clearly missing her past and wondering what her life would have been like had she never moved. I think this could have been a great Christmas time hit. It's easy to listen to, catchy enough to hum, and masterfully written. What else could you ask for? Would've, Could've, Should've from Midnight. I was gonna put You're On Your Own Kid here, and frankly I do think that could be a great single, but I think this one would work better since it stands out a little more than that song, sound-wise. The singles from Midnights have been synthy, dream pop inspired songs, which I personally love, but Would've Could've Should've once again shows off a different side of Taylor. This is more of a soft rock track that barely brushes up against her old country sound, and I think this could've worked as a single for the same reason as Holy Ground. For people who prefer her music to be a little more folk and rock leaning, this is a great track. It's catchy enough to play well to pop fans, but raw enough to capture audiences who prefer a more stripped back style. It's also arguably the best of the 3am tracks, and one of the best songs on Midnights in general, so I think it has the potential to be a hit. Definitely not on the level of an Antihero or Karma, but still a hit in its own right. Those were my choices for Taylor songs that should have been singles, but let me know what songs you guys would pick in the comments, and I'll see you next time.